Hello, everybody. It's Wednesday. The sun is shining here in Ireland, but it's already dark. Charles, see, Charles, my window here, it's already dark.
It's
No?
September almost, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Tomorrow. So we are close to
Exactly.
the equinox and the days are shrinking.
It's
Yeah,
getting
unfortunately.
late early now.
Huh?
Yeah. So, good evening, everyone. 9 o'clock here in Ireland and London, 10 o'clock in France, and 11 o'clock in Lithuania. So, nice to have you all here with us today. Today's topic is how to improve our souls, loving ourselves. And as always, I do have a excellent, amazing partners in crime here. So let's start with my friend in Lithuania. Labas, Nadja. How are you?
Labas vakaras, laba diena, labas rytas, kaip jums sekasi. Tai šiandien labai gera tema. Šiandien kalbėsime, kaip mylėti save ir pasiekti giliau savo sielą. Kalbėsime apie savigarbą, apie meilę, apie gerumą. Tikiuosi, kad jums bus labai įdomu. Hello, everybody. How are you? Hope you are all well. And today, as Stevan said, our tema will be about love. And it's a very important thing, a very important topic. So, hope you enjoy it.
Good. How is Wimbledon, my dear Silvia? How are you?
I'm good. Everything's good in Wimbledon and in Putney as well. Good evening, everyone. It goes so quickly. The week just goes so quickly. That we're well, and I hope everyone is well and have a good week. And keep our hearts, full of joy and hopeful, because some of the things that happen is quite difficult, and sometimes it's quite hard to keep be joyful, but we need to try, and we need to trust that God is watching over us and He loves us. So today we are going to talk about something that's very important: how to improve us all, to love ourselves. And this is a very important theme, I think, to discuss and to clarify quite some confusion that comes out of it. So, looking forward to talking to everyone. So there you go.
Thank you. Bonsoir, Charles.
Bonsoir Stevan, bonsoir à tous. Bonjour selon où vous êtes dans le monde ou à l'heure où vous regarderez cette vidéo. Très heureux d'être à nouveau parmi vous ce soir sur ce thème intéressant, l'estime de soi, qu'on va essayer de vous développer un petit peu. Voilà. Hello everyone, good morning, good evening. Very happy to be here again with you this Wednesday, last day of August, as we saw, and to talk about this subject of loving ourselves, self-esteem, which is important in our step towards evolution.
Yes, great. So today we don't have a video here because all the videos I found, we need to request permission to show the video here with these copyrights, all these things. Unfortunately, I didn't find a proper video. And we go straight to our topic. But before that, I want to say good night to our people who is online with us: Camille Brila, Beatriz Guiles, Thiago Ribeiro. Good night. Let me check here because I missed something here. And let me try. Wow. Yeah, I missed. We have a video. 1 second, guys. I show a video for you. We have a video. I missed that. 1 second. Let me do it here. Let me share my screen. and I will do it. 1 second. Let me copy here. This is going to be very quickly. Like we say in Rome, habemos video. Yeah, let me share my screen.
Let me please introduce our distinguished speaker for today.
Okay.
Everything.
Share your screen.
Today is so important. Our topic is so important that we are having some interference. So we really need to talk about love ourselves, love the others. So soon we'll be seeing the video.
Yeah. Okay, let me play.
Starts when we start comparing ourselves, and comparison can be very enlightening, but also can be very detrimental. When we compare ourselves to great works, perhaps we want to do better, but sometimes we compare ourselves to great works and we think that we don't do nothing, we don't have any value compared to the great works. But then when we see that the little that we can do perhaps can bring a change, can make a change, and it's okay. Sometimes that little that we can offer can go many ways, right? And can go different ways, and that we can even imagine. We often bring back the parenting situation. We often don't give any value to the times that our parents lost sleep. A mother loses sleep with a child, and that goes unnoticed. And it's the same thing. A mother can feel sometimes that perhaps if the kid does something wrong later on in life, that she didn't do a good job. She did an amazing job, but it was just a matter of how valued those little moments were. We are creations of the Creator, yet we're all destined to happiness and to be free of this illusion that we don't have any value.
Okay, we had video. See? That's a teamwork, my friends. This is teamwork and a lack of attention of myself. So, loving ourselves doesn't mean doing a self-worship. The love for ourselves must be interpreted as need for prayer and to be vigilant of our thoughts, of our actions, of our behavior, of our life. And we need to make this we need to transform this love for ourselves in self-effort, self-education, observation of the duty, obedience to God's laws, perseverance in faith, and I would say a sincere desire to learn with the teachings given by Jesus Christ, the teachings we have in the gospel according to Spiritism, the teachings we have in the Spirit's book. And always we need to remember that all the good we do for others and benefit other people is not benefit them, is benefit ourselves. So as much as you're doing for the others, when you think you are doing for the others, at the end, you will see you are doing it for yourself. So please do not make a mistake and think that self-worship is self-love. It is a completely different thing. And today we will talk more about it. And since we're talking about self-love, as I always say here, I give like easy questions to Silvia, and that's why I will start with her today, because I want to give you the easy one to her and leave the hard one for the others. And my dear Silvia, your question is simple. I think is already here. What is self-love? Since we're talking about it,
Yes, it's a very easy question. I'm very glad. Thanks so much.
no
Um,
problem.
I think there are, many ways to see this, and I think you talked about one that's very important. But we're also looking in a sense of the psychological way of looking at self-love, which in reality is a human necessity. We do need to have that, all of us. And I made a few notes which I read from, but not completely, because it's in psychology, they say, what is self-love? And it's the ability that we have to hold our self-esteem, to have confidence in our worth, no matter what happens. And this is very important, extremely important, that we have self-esteem and that we have a sense of self-worth and be aware of who we are, so we can make decisions in our lives. We can face the situations that come. And this is very, very important for us, because not only self-love will help us, but it's physical and it's mental and it's psychological as well. So this is a very important sentiment to have. But I think there is always in a way that there is two ways of looking at this, because normally when one talks about self-love, immediately a person will think, oh, you're selfish, you're proud, you want everything to yourself, and words like narcissist, egocentric, big-headed, complacent, and it goes on and on and on, the kind of things that you can actually become if you become self-obsessed. And I think what we're talking about here about self-love is a completely different situation altogether. When someone is, in a way, I think someone who's very big-headed, who's very narcissistic, is someone who has really, really deep lack of self-worth. They really are not aware of their goodness, and they really lack that sense, the self-esteem. So in a way, it's almost like they compensate on the other side of being extremely self-obsessed and things like that. But I think that deep down, they lack self-esteem and they lack self-worth, which is something that is a serious thing, really. So even those that you think as very not very egotistical, in the end, if you look deep down on them, you see that they are lacking in the minimal self-esteem and a sense of worth, because to feel that that you like yourself, that you respect yourself, is the basics, a necessity of all human beings. And being able to care for yourself, it means that you eat properly, you listen to good music, like you said in your comment in the beginning, Stevan. You educate yourself, you will improve yourself, because it's a way of growing spiritually, physically, mentally, psychologically. And it's a very opposite, actually, of being selfish, because when we really esteem ourselves, we respect ourselves, we will do with other people, we'll be kinder to other people, we'll be more understanding. So in a way, when we like ourselves, we being good to other people as well, because it goes out of us. You are polite to someone, you know how to talk with kindness. You can explain things instead of shouting an order. And all this, it's very, very important when it's a real healthy kind of love for oneself. And I think this really resumes in what Jesus said. And I've taken the liberty of writing down here, because as usual, Jesus was being tempted right and left, and then the lawyer comes. And by lawyer, you know, it's not the people like now that they know the law of the land, but in those days a lawyer was someone who had the knowledge of the law, was a scholar of the law, the Hebrew law anyway. And he comes to Jesus and said, Master, what is the greatest commandment? And then Jesus said to him, Thou shalt love thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment. And the second is like unto it, Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. That's from Matthew, I think 22, verses 34 to 40. And I mean, in this part here, that Jesus compares the first commandment is to love God above everything, and the second is the same like the first, that you should love your neighbor as yourself. And I think this is one of the very, very important things in the gospel, because Jesus is telling us actually that we need to love ourselves. And to love ourselves means that we respect ourselves, we have a sense of self-worth, we have a sense that we are useful. And I think, you know, in mental illness, especially now that we see a lot of all over the place, a lot of the problem for mental illness is that people don't feel useful anymore. You know, everything somehow is so easy. It's the government, they're going to look for it. Oh, you have a problem with your young people, or the police will take care of it, or the school will take care of it. And in a way, it's almost like we transfer to other people our responsibilities for our children, for our lives. And this, you know, as time goes by, people are not feeling useful. And I think quite a lot of the problems, the mental problems that are having now, is that people don't feel useful anymore. And this is something that, you know, if we love ourselves, if we care for ourselves, we will care for others. We'll be more kinder, we're more understanding. And it's important for us to understand that instead of being a selfishness act, it's actually an act of kindness. It's a charity act, really, because you know, they say when you fly, and those things come up for the air, first of all, they always say put your own mask first and then you help other people, because if you're going to help others, you die and you probably won't help them either. And this is really interesting, that we need to help ourselves, because when we are helped, then we are strong enough to help other people. And I think that's what means self-love, is to, you know, like educate ourselves, is to be aware of who we are, how useful we can be. And I think above all, I was reading an article about Maya Angelou, the great poetess of America. She was a wonderful woman, wonderful soul, a great writer. And she said in an interview, she said, you know, she had many, many difficulties, many problems. And she said in one of the things that her life changed when she realized that God loved her. And she said that God loved me. And from then on, I knew how to solve my problems. I knew how to face the difficulties. And I think that that's it. You know, God is to have that certainty that God loves us, that we are a child of the universe, and that we are connected to every single soul. And to take care of ourselves is not only something to do, but it's like an obligation, because then we'll be strong enough to take care of others. So I think close here if anyone like to say something else. Just one thing I would like to say. Boa tarde a todo mundo, que eu esqueci de falar português hoje, cumprimentar as pessoas em português. Boa tarde e prazer estar com vocês uma vez mais.
Yeah, my dear, you brought an example, very good example, the plane. You need to put a mask in yourself, then you put in your children. And many people think, oh, you're so selfish. You know, it's true, you know.
But you're not, because if you faint, then you won't be able to help
Exactly.
them or yourself or anyone else either, you know.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So, Charles, my friend, another for you is easy. For you is easy as well today. Why everyone born in different conditions?
Thank you for the question. If I have an easy one as well, poor Nadja will have the complicated one later on. But we are here to help.
It's for Nadja, don't tell her.
Ouais. Okay, why everyone is born in different conditions? So we have seen in the video that we are creations of the Creator. Okay, but the Creator decided somehow not to create us like the cars which are coming out of the automotive factory, not produced on the line and so on. And everyone is different, okay, just already from the beginning. And this diversity is which makes the richness of the world. Imagine how it would be terrible to have everybody the same, everybody reacting the same, doing the same, willing the same, and so on. It would be really boring, isn't it? No, we are all different one from the other. Each spirit is different, has his personal experience that he has built along his past and the present life. And everyone is building his progress along the reincarnations. So what happens is that the creation of spirits by God is permanent. It has always existed. So there is no just, okay, I will create 7 or 8 billion humans, spirits, and then give a time. And no, it's really a continuous process of creation. So some have been created earlier than the other, and they had more time to make progress. So this is one of the reasons of the difference. Some others, they worked harder and quicker, and are more also because of this, thanks to this, more advanced than the others, the lazy ones, or the one which have been created only recently, or the one who have made less efforts. Okay, so all this is then explaining why everyone is different. The equality is really something which is very strong, but it doesn't exist in the nature. Okay, in the absolute. Everyone has different merits, has different baggage, has different background, has worked in a different way, more or less quicker, depending on the one. And this is explaining all this diversity of skills that we can observe and of the situations, of the conditions that we can observe in the world. Where we are equal is we have all been created in the same way. Simple and without knowledge. And we have all received this potential of evolution. Okay. So as human also, we have received the free will. And this is then showing that in front of God, we are all equal. And the differences is only due to our achievements, our merits, the best, the use, better or worse, that we are doing of this free will that God has given us. If we use the free will for doing goods and less wrongs, then of course we advance much quicker. And this is just normal, and this is according to the justice as well. Okay. And another reason of this diversity in the conditions is we all need one another for the evolution. Contact between both the less evolved and the more evolved is necessary because it helps in our progress. It helps in the evolution, which is the ultimate purpose, the ultimate goal of our life, of our reincarnations. Okay, so students, for instance, need professors. Okay, without professors, it will be very hard that everyone learning the things by itself. So this shows clearly that this diversity of skills is necessary, is also something good and profitable for making the evolutions quicker. Okay. Also, less advanced spirits on the moral evolution aspect need the example of more advanced spirits. That's why you have from time to time in the world good spirits incarnating, these missionaries, all these people like, I don't know, Jesus, like Confucius, like Mahomet, like Kardec in a certain way, like Gandhi, and so many, which are here showing leading by example. And the notion of leadership is also based on this. The leadership is more a natural leadership based on the skills, on the example, on the amount of work which is realized to help the others, than just IQ or whatever. You can have people with high IQ and with a very low EQ, means using their intelligence to do wrongs, to make wars, to make weapons for destroying and things like that, or to speculate, to capture the money which should serve by the production for their own profit. In other words, it's useless for luxurious things and so on. So all this again is a question of the use of our free will. Okay. There is one more aspect that we should stress here, that every spirit has also planned his reincarnation according to its personal needs for evolution. Okay. It is generally ourselves, our spirit, who is selecting the trials, the existence, the difficulties we have in our existence in order to help in our evolution. Okay, this is also explaining a lot why we are all born in different conditions, because it's a result of our own choice. Okay, some spirits are, for instance, selecting an existence of pain and difficulties, either for expiation or to feel in their own body and spirit what they have caused to others in the past lives. Some others are selecting, for instance, to be poor. Why? In order to fight against selfishness, stinginess, or prodigality, or corruption, or whatever. Some others are selecting to a life in very low social conditions. Why? To fight against their excessive pride and also to develop humility. There are several examples in the Spiritist literature of this, one of them being the example of Emmanuel himself, who was a Roman senator in Jerusalem or in Galilee, and who in his next life was decided to reincarnate as a slave. So this why? Because he missed the opportunity to know Jesus, or to study, or to adhere to it, or to promote it maybe quicker in the Roman culture and whatever, because of his excessive pride. And then he selected a life as a slave exactly to fight against this tendency of pride and to develop humility. Just to finish, the free will is then what is governing these different conditions. And as Silvia said, Jesus told, love your neighbor as yourself. So if you don't love yourself, you cannot love your neighbor. Okay. See, this is it is embedded in the own small and simple, straightforward sentence, isn't it? So to love your neighbor, you need to love yourself. You need to have this self-esteem. Otherwise, if you think you are not capable, you are have not the skills, or at the end you do nothing. Huh? But on another hand, and Silvia showed this very clearly, the person who loves himself a lot and who loves only very poorly the neighbor is wrong, okay? Because this is characterizing pride, the persons who are thinking they are more than their neighbor. So that is why this balance has to be always watched by ourselves. As soon as we love ourselves a little bit, we have to love our neighbor a little bit, and so on. It cannot be I first have to love myself a lot, and only then I will love my neighbor. This is conditional charity and doesn't work. Okay. So all these things are to be thought about, and this is also the golden rule: do unto the others what you would like the others to do unto you. The golden rule for our evolution to happiness. And obviously it needs loving ourselves, it needs some self-esteem. So I will stop here and leave the space also for Nadja, who will talk to us about this particular item.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Silvia, we have a message for you here. Camille wrote, Silvia, thank you for your view on self-love. This struck chord with my heart. Yeah. Thank you, Camille. Thank you. Thank you very much for your comments. And thank you, Charles. Yes, we are different, but we are at the end we are equal. We just make these differences. And then we go to an important subject, which is self-esteem. And today we are surrounded by people with depression, people killing themselves, so suicide. It's so sad. So sometimes I can talk by myself, feel like powerless to do something. And Nadja, you as a doctor background, you studied the chemical reactions, all these, why people it's become psychological affected. What do you need to keep our self-esteem high and do not enter in these dangerous zones? And probably the people think suicide is the way out, but it's not the way out. It's another door for another suffering.
Yeah, thank you very much for the easy question.
Okay,
I think it's it's very easy. As you mentioned, in our world now, we have a lot of depression, anxiety, and I see many people in the acupuncture clinic. The main reason is stress, anxiety, they cannot sleep, and it's like a vicious circle that they cannot close, no? And cannot stop. So, of course, that if you have any problem, if you're not feeling well, you have to, go to the doctor, talk to your doctor. In case you need medication, you take the medication. If you need to go and talk to a psychotherapist and do therapy, it's very good. It opens your mind and your heart. And it's important to go to stay in contact with nature, to talk to your family, to your parents, to your close relatives. Sometimes you're very close to a cousin, yeah, or one of your siblings. Then talk openly, to your friends, and don't take everything to yourself, because sometimes we need someone, some help, some professional help, some help from our loved ones. It's important to do sports, because the chemical reactions that come, the endorphin, the happy hormones that we release when we are doing exercise, when we are praying, also when we're doing our mantras, meditation, to try to concentrate this energy, good energy, into ourselves. What we need to do to keep our self-esteem, so as we are saying till now, is to love yourself, not to be selfish, to have pride from a negative point of view, and also don't beat yourself up if you think that you cannot love yourself. Start from here, like we try our best, but we need to know that we have our flaws. Everybody has it. No one is perfect. That's why we're still here on earth. We're still reincarnating, and we'll reincarnate many times. As Stevan says, suicide is not the end. For those who don't believe that there is life after death, we always say here that, keep your faith and try to be positive. Suicide is not the end, is not the answer, because then in the afterlife, we're gonna have more problems with this action. Try to keep positive. It's hard, but don't compare yourself. Like the video was saying, like it's good to compare yourself, but don't, try to compare and put yourself down. There's so many recipes online, so many videos, so many motivational speeches that sometimes you think that they are all the same, but one phrase, one word will, like Camille said, like one thing just that this person say will stuck in core in their heart. And as we're saying, self-esteem is not the same as pride or being selfish. But pride and selfishness are inevitable, because they are part of our development process. We need to understand that this is like a preservation instinct, and it was when we were, still hunting, because we need to have this defense mechanism as well. So as soon as we realize that we can do better when we compare ourselves, but then we can move a little bit further to try to be better, try to improve ourselves. So competition with ourselves. We have this limit, as Charles said, so we have to have this limit, then the balance, because sometimes when we are competing too much, when we're thinking that we're too good, we are better than anyone else, then we fail or we lose, and then we have two choices, or the frustration or determination. And here, between these two, we can see the spiritual level or development level or the moral values of the person. So when we get frustrated or we get angry, some people will give up and stay very down emotionally, and this is a vicious circle of no self-love or depression, fear, pain. It's because we cannot see the failures as a lesson. So when we see the failure, the mistakes that we make, the losses as a lesson, we stop and we think, and we start realizing, analyzing also what we can do to change the situation, to change ourselves, to change our behaviors, sometimes our behavior towards others. It's important to have this inner strength to push us forward, but also a support from others. And I think we have in other lives talked about the childhood, the children's, and how important is also in some situations that since our childhood we have to share or we have to compete. No, whether it's doing sports or literature. No? And the parents' mission, the mission of the parent is to help the child to understand these values and to put into practice. So I will give you a personal example, because sometimes our own example can help other to connect to the topic of the today's, for example. My dad was a very strict person. Now he's very soft with the grandchildren, but with us, me and my sisters, he was like very like a military guy, like very, very like a general. But I got from him the idea of never give up. So once I was, competing, horse riding, and then I fell off the horse. Of course, I was shaking. After that, he took me to take some water, to drink some water, to try to, calm me down. And then I remember the scene, like when I was drinking the water, he's still shaking, but then he, trying to talk to me. And then he put his hand on my shoulder and then looked to me and said, like, you can, go back there, get another horse, go up, finish the ride, finish the competition. Try again, or we can go home. You decide. So I went there. I got another horse, and then I went there and finished, and then I got like third place even. So this was like the motivation. When we have support, when we have someone to push us a little bit, we fly high, and it can be a friend, a parent, your work colleague sometimes, can push you up. And I had during my medical training, my residency, I had many people who tried to put me down, to try to cheat, to try to competing, try to take me from the surgical operating theater, because we have to always practice and have some points and everything. So the more we do, the better we are, of course. Experience. People saying bad things for me to give up, but this was just like a motivation for me to prove that I could prove to them that they were wrong and that I could do it. So I was just thinking, okay, I will study harder, study more, work harder, do the best that I can in my job. The more, the better I can do. Of course, that sometimes we get down. We women, we have our hormones, so we have the mood, the impatience, so to help. But thank God we have chocolate. But sometimes this self-esteem that we have, this inner strength that we have, it's our faith, the belief in ourselves that we can get there. And when we love ourselves, as we're talking today about love ourselves, then we want to do the best for us and consequently also to the others. And because this is energy, it resonates, it vibrates, this vibration, high vibration that goes to the others, goes back to us and makes us feel good. And the opposite as well, of course. If you say something bad to someone or to yourself in the mirror, saying like, I'm not beautiful, I'm fat, I'm old, or whatever, I'm a failure, and then this bad energy will go back to you. So this is an exercise for everybody, for me as well, is to look ourselves in the mirror, to inside our eyes, inside our souls, and tell us, or remember someone who said something good to you. Remember your achievements. Remember, some good moments that made you feel proud of yourself or to make you feel worthy. And I'm sure this energy will come back to you and this love that you're sending, showing to you that exists because it's in our memory. We tend to remember just the bad things, but no, try to look inside your eyes and tell these good things to you. And then you start feeling, good. You start seeing your wrinkles because you're going to start smiling, and feeling good. And if we can start our day like this, then it's like super start for the day. So it's a determination to be a better person. It's a motivation to do better every day, each day. Of course, there will be moments that we are, sad, that frustrated, that we're tired and hopeless, like Stevan was saying. But just go back to the mirror. Go back to the mirror, look at yourself, and remember the good things that happened to you and that made you smile. I also, do Reiki. Reiki is a Japanese form of energy healing, so it's like hands-on healing. Rei means soul, spirit. Ki is like chi, that most people know. It's energy or vital energy, universal energy. And we learn 5 affirmations. So I have here with me always, because they are very important. They are just for today, I will not anger. And just for today, I will not worry. Just for today, I will be grateful for all my blessings. And just for today, I will work with honesty and integrity. And just for today, I will be kind to all living beings. We have also Ho'oponopono. There's also mantra, meditation mantra that we can say. So I'm sorry, please forgive me. I love you and thank you. So 4 phrases that are very simple, very powerful, but we say to ourselves, and we can say to imagine someone else as well. So loving ourselves, loving our life, loving our body the way it is, because our body, our physical body carries us everywhere. And, our mind also, we have to love that we have the capability, the ability, the capacity to think, to imagine, to read a book, to travel with the books, or to learn another language, for example. So we are talking about love, and love is the way. Love is love life, because we are here and we have this opportunity, and thank God we have this opportunity. So step by step, po truputį in Lithuanian. So little by little, we can, like every day, just for today, love ourselves, and then we can share this love to the others. So I think I got excited talking about love, but sorry, but this is a very good theme. It's very difficult, very hard, but it's just like every day a little bit. Sometimes 5 minutes will change the mood, will change the whole day.
Yes,
for sure.
Yes, agreed. Yeah, chocolate bars made such a difference. So Dora Carvalho, she wrote to us, "Hello, friends. The synthesis proposed by Jesus around love is of the most beautiful known psychotherapies. To love God above all things and your neighbor as yourself is the golden rule Charles mentioned in the beginning. The Spirit Joana de Angelis, through the mediumship of Divaldo Franco, presents the need of first loving yourself as an essential lever for the conquest of all spheres of this supreme feeling." Thank you, Dora, for your inputs. And what I want to say, there is a recipe for being self-balanced. And I will give you this recipe for you all now. Have you heard about the Serenity Prayer? So this is the recipe, and I will say to you, the Serenity Prayer is, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Sometimes we, like the movie, we let it go. We need to let it go. We need to. Sometimes we need to accept. Sometimes we need to have courage to change. We need to have courage to fight, to take to have hard decisions. Sometimes we need to be love ourselves, but from the eyes of the other people. They think, oh, he's being selfish. No, I'm not being selfish. So this is life. This is what we have today. Guys, we are nearly there. So anyone compliments or anyone want to say something?
As I said, this is a balance to be found, because loving ourselves exclusively or less than the others is indeed excessive pride, okay? Is ego, is whatever. So it needs really to be on compensated, I would say, by the love of our neighbor, because conditional love is not love. Telling I will love only I will love the others if I can first love myself. You have to be careful how you say it, because if you do now, let's say, a seminar or some weekend for self-esteem and so on, you will have full of people coming. A lot of people are demanding for such activities, but is it really helping them in their evolution, in this way of charity, of loving your neighbor? Maybe not always, and maybe it's not what the people are looking first. Are looking first some benefit for themselves, and that is exactly where we have to be careful.
I think that's a good point you make, Charles, because I think one of the things, I mean, what exactly is loving oneself? Is to accept ourselves the way we are, warts and all, as they say. There are things that is not very good. Maybe we gossip, we talk about other people. There's so whatever it is that we are still to learn. But it's to be able to accept it, because once we do that, then we are able to change. If we deny things, or if we are extremely self-conscious and always reproaching ourselves for everything, this is a very negative thing, because we only see our defect, the faults that we have. And we really need to learn to see, yes, we have faults. There are things that we need to improve, and let's work towards doing it. But also, I'm a kind person. I'm there for my friends when they need me. I cry with someone, when they are sad and unhappy. I have enough empathy to cry with them, to laugh with them. I can wish them well. I'm happy when something happy is happening in their families, with them, when their children are achieving a level of something, and you feel as happy and as proud of their children's achievement as they do. And we needed to hold on to the positive, to the good parts as well, because I think mostly we tend to see only, I think Nadja said something about, I'm ugly, I'm old, I'm fat, I'm too slim, or whatever, my lips are this and my hair's like that. And we tend to focus so much in what is negative that we don't see anything else. And yes, we do have faults. We do have things we need to change. We need things we need to work on to be a better person. But also we have good things. We have positive things. And I think we need to hold on to those as much as anything else, because otherwise we get lost. I always remember years and years and years ago, I had a friend in school. She was a lovely person. And then we went on holiday, and she came back from the holiday and she said to me, have you seen something different in me? And for the life of me, I couldn't see what was different in her, And she said, look properly. And I couldn't see it. And she got hold of my arm, my shoulder, like she was shaking me and saying, look, I'm different. You can't see it. And then, other friends started, and especially when she picked me up and started shaking me, other people came around and no one could see the difference that she seemed to have. And then she said she had plastic surgery in her nose during the holidays. But you see, for her was a problem. Nobody ever noticed her nose. It's something as silly as that. But for her, the way she felt about herself, the nose, everything, and wow, nobody sees. What is different? And then when she actually said it, she told us what happened, that she had had surgery and changed her nose. That's, oh, really? Oh, yeah, fine. Let's go have a cup of coffee. It wasn't important for us. For us, what was important was that she was a really nice person. We had a laugh with her. She was good to start with her. And I think this is, really taught me a lesson there. Don't concentrate in one thing, because other people may not be even seeing it. They seeing other things in you. And I think mostly people tend to see what you have of good, and sometimes you say, oh no, I'm not like that at all. I'm a really horrible person. And I don't know why we behave like this. We should say, oh, thank you. It's so kind that you notice that I have something positive. But at least my reaction is always you saying something that I don't really have. And it's completely silly. But I think basically we all do that. And even for me now, something I learned, next time someone says something, I say, oh, thank you, it's really nice that you see something good in me. I'm very grateful for that, and I'm going to try to improve. He says, oh no, I don't. But and I think this, the little things that makes you, because we can get very bitter if we only look what's negative. We lose perspective, and then we become this self-obsessed, only loving ourselves for too much or something. So anyway, it's a good theme, lots to think and meditate on. And Jesus, like nobody else, said, love your neighbors as self. That's the commandment. That's the same as the first, to love God. Because if we don't love ourselves, we can love God, we can love others, and we can love God. So it's part of the premise that we can only love God if we love ourselves by loving others.
Yes.
So
okay, my friends, that's our time is up. Thank you for the message, Camila, Marco. Thank you. We don't have time to read the messages here, but thank you very much for your contribution. I will just show our announcements here. So next week, 7th of September, the extraordinary and the supernatural. It's 9:00, Wednesday. We'll be here waiting for you, my friends. Time to Talk, every Tuesday, conversations on mediumship given by Guilherme Dias and Rafael Caldas at 7:30 p.m. Also, every Saturday, 10:30 a.m., Guilherme Dias, Munir, Gariba, and Charles They are facilitators of the course, the Medium's book. So feel free to join the discussion here. Also, every other Tuesday, study of the book Nosso Lar from 8 to 9 p.m. And this is promoted by the Spiritist Society of London. Every Wednesday, 4 p.m., Munir brings us a coffee break with Kardec. And if you want to help two institutions in Brazil, one is Grupo Sheila, the other one is Instituto Mutirão. Please go to www.kardec.org.uk/high5. And we want to say thank you for your contribution and your time. And this is it for us, my friends. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you, my friends. Nadja, go to bed because you are already on Thursday.
I'm already on the 1st of September.
Yes, she's already in September.
Going to the future. She's going to have foot one in the future and one in the past.
That's good.
Exactly. Now, thank you very much for all participation here in the text as well, in the comments. Thank you.
Thank you. And Charles, thank you for your inputs. And Silvia, thank you for making a difficult questions in an easy answer.
Thank you very much, and God bless everyone, and have a good week. Peace and love. All we need is love, as John Lennon said.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Bye-bye, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye. Good night.